Yes, 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 guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're here for the first time, welcome, hello, thank you for spending today with us. I'm dropping another video today, guys, along the same lines as my last one, which was how to deliver an entire whole body session, a little bit of lower body, a little bit of upper body, and a little bit of conditioning with nothing but the use of one single dumbbell, not even a pair, just one, and one resistance band. I'm kind of enjoying the fact that we're forced into this weird time of having to be creative with our training and creative with our fitness journey if we want to kind of carry along the game train. So today, following the same theme, the single bit of kit that I've decided to use to deliver an entire whole body session is a sandbag. Can you cue the sandbag montage, please? Thanks. Whether you're a CrossFitter, a bodybuilder, or prepping for the military, I believe this is one of the most versatile bits of kit that you can use, that does develop strength, that does develop a bit of stability, absolutely will gain muscle, still works on your endurance. And just for a little bit of subjective masochism, you do feel as though you've been absolutely battered by the end, which sometimes is a nice productive feeling if you know you've worked hard. I've always been a fan of strongman training in general because I believe it is one of the best ways to develop whole body conditioning and strength and physique. I think one of the reasons why we don't necessarily see that, we think of strongman training and then our brains instantly create this picture when we have this association with things like World's Strongest Man, where in all honesty, we see guys with a very, very high body fat percentage and they might be unbelievably strong and 200 kilos, but they might not necessarily have the same physique that we are looking for. But that does not mean at all this kind of training cannot absolutely perfectly strike the balance between good quality strength and hypertrophy. Trust me, there is some muscle building effect in there as well, and a bit of aerobic conditioning. And assuming that every single one of you guys now does not have a strongman yoke currently folded up underneath your bed, at least a heavy sandbag is something that we're a hell of a lot more likely to be able to access. So without further ado, CrossFitters, bodybuilders, and whether or not you are prepping for or currently serving in any military force worldwide, check this out. This is my whole body session using nothing but one single sandbag. Usually with this, as I've mentioned before, within my whole body sessions, I like to include kind of a specific isolated lower body section, an isolated upper body section, and a little spicy conditioner to finish. But today, I'm going to approach it in a slightly different way, and basically I'm going to do a couple of little supersets or giant sets, and effectively use this as a weighted conditioning session. Again, whether or not you're a CrossFitter or a functional fitness athlete, a bodybuilder, or you are serving or prepping for the military, do not think this is purely aerobic. Trust me, this is not the same physiological adaptation as a 5K run. This is absolutely weighted, it's heavy, it's grueling, puts a lot of stress through your system, and you would be surprised at how you can get an aerobic benefit and a muscle building benefit so well, and again, strike that balance perfectly with just this one single implement of sadism. Obviously, because I'm not an absolute muppet and I don't want to snap my hamstrings and my Achilles on a lovely February British day, I'm going to make sure that I warm up properly. I'm going to do some mobility work, I'm going to do a little bit of dynamic flexibility, I'm going to raise the heart rate, I'm going to get prepped for this. And as is my preference and as my background is sprinting, I'm part of the GB bobsleigh team, I like to do some quick, snappy innovation work, basically just to make sure that you're nice and primed and you're not only warm, but you're moving nice and quickly. You guys know the warm up, you don't need to go into too much detail with that, do we? And moving into the first giant set, guys, it's gonna look a little something like this. Picking the sandbag up and almost bear hugging it, making sure your core and your lower back are braced. You're gonna complete 10 sandbag squats. And then just to take the pressure off your lungs a little bit, you can drop the bag, but you're gonna take no more than about 20 seconds rest at this point. You are immediately gonna lift the bag up again, and you're gonna go into 20 overhead press. Obviously, you're gonna get more of a direct muscular benefit if you do this strict, but if it's a little bit too heavy for you, do not fear. Give it a little bit of a snap from the knees and the hips, allowing all the force you generate from the floor to give you a little bit of a hand on the way up, and basically doing sandbag push press. So you've done your 10 squats, you've now done your overhead, you're gonna drop the bag, and you're gonna do a couple of sprints just for good measure to keep the blood pumping, get a little bit of aerobic benefit. Anywhere between 60 and 90 seconds rest between these sets is about right. Repeat that 4 times, and that is the first giant set in the bag. Moving on to the second section of the session, guys, we are now going to do some lunges. You can either do walking lunges again in kind of a bear hold position, or with the bag up on your shoulder if you want to, or depending on the ground or the terrain that you're on, if you've got horrendously sharp stones underneath, there's no point tearing your patella tendon on a rock. So what you can do is you can do some step back contralateral lunges. This is basically a fancy word to say that whichever shoulder the sandbag happens to be on, say it's on my right shoulder now, is my left foot that is planted on the ground and I'm stepping my right leg back. So I'm working the other leg, the leg that is on the opposite side to the shoulder that you are holding the sandbag on. So you're either going to do 15 step back contralateral lunges or just 30 walking lunges. Again, either bear holding or up on your shoulder. Drop in the bag, again, take no more than about 10 to 15 seconds to get some oxygen back in your lungs. And then you are going to do 20 to the shoulders. As you can see here, dropping down into a good quality hip hinge position, making sure the back and the core brace, driving up, and it's all the force that you generate from the floor that drives up through the sandbag, lifting it up onto your shoulder. As you can see here, basically you're putting one hand on the shoulder, the other arm extends, and all that does is at that top position, you're just showing control a little bit before you then drop the sandbag down, do exactly the same movement, repeating on the other side. So 20 of these, 10 each side. You've now done the lunges, you've now done the lift to shoulder. Why not finish off this giant set with an age-old classic that is some burpees. 15 burpees here, chest all the way to the ground, a little bit of a jump at the top, clapping the hands behind the head for good measure. And what I would like you to do with this one is do 4 rounds for this, rolling, which basically means there's absolutely no break between. As soon as you finish your burpees, you pick the bag straight back up and you're straight into the next set of lunges. And moving on to our third and final giant set. This is probably the worst one, as you probably expect, which is why we leave it for the end, to just properly bin you and finish you off. You are going to do some over the shoulders now. Very, very similar to the lift to the shoulder. You're just going to generate a little bit more force through the hips, powering the sandbag up enough that it actually goes over the shoulder. Quickly stepping out the way. It's just going to fall on the mat behind you. You're going to turn around, pick it up and repeat. 20 of these, 10 each side. What you're then going to do, pick it up. I do not want you to carry it on the shoulder. Pick it up, bear hug it again, and then literally just move from A to B as quickly as you flipping can. If you can mark out a way to do about 50 meters, that is absolutely perfect. And one of the extra aerobic benefits that you get with this is not only the fact that you're moving quickly, it's not only the fact that you're carrying this extra weight, but in that bear hug position, it is compressing your chest and lungs a little bit, making it a little bit harder to breathe. But again, that's part of the adaptation process. Make things a little bit harder than they need to be, which means you're going to adapt more from this training stimulus. You're welcome. 60-second break, only 3 rounds of this. And again, you might be thinking, well, I can do it rolling, but the purpose of that break is to put your body in a position where it recovers a little bit. So during the time that you are doing that over the shoulders and the carries, they should be quicker. If you did 4 rounds back to back and had absolutely no break, well, they should not be being performed at the same speed as they are when you have a break. When you have a break between these rounds, you should absolutely be completing them quicker. That is the hard graft you need to put in to deserve that 60-second rest. And there we have it, guys. They are my 3 giant sets. Good bit of strength work, good bit of bodybuilding work, good bit of conditioning work, all with nothing but the use of one sandbag. I was lucky enough to borrow these from OPEX Gatwick, so I have absolutely no recommendation of where you can get them, but I imagine it's not particularly hard to find them online. But trust me, it is an amazing, almost stoic bit of kit that just grinds you down and develops some bloody resilience. But there is nothing more primal than just picking up a heavy sack. I really need to stop making these innuendos. Lugging it about, throwing it over your shoulder, moving from A to B. Mwah. Strength and conditioning at its most primally pleasurable. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, thank you so much. Please do smash that like button. It really does help me grow the channel. If you do have any ideas or suggestions or requests of what you'd like me to cover in the future, please do put them down in the comment section below. If you have not yet done so, please do follow the arrow, press the subscribe button. You will not regret it. I've got a hell of a lot of amazing content coming up over the next couple of months. I know you're going to enjoy it. Please do press that subscribe button now to make sure you do not miss out. Have an amazing day, guys, and see you soon. Bye.